All right, guys, what's up? We're back. Got another episode here. Still don't have the boat out on the water yet. Early April here, but today's episode is going to be an installation video for you, and I've got a little special surprise that I'm putting on the boat this year in the old Garmin Livescope. So I got the GLS 10 LBS 34 and the 12-inch Echomap screen here. So super excited about putting this on the boat this year. Something I've been wanting for a few years, but I figured I still had one more year to go before I was going to grab it. But things worked out and I've got it. So what I'm going to do in this one is basically walk you through pretty detailed installation of transducer, black box, and the Echomap. Still waiting on my bracket for the Echomap, so we'll probably, first one we'll walk through the live transducer and the black box installation, all my wiring, everything got here. So if you're doing this on your boat or planning on doing it, watch this video. Hopefully it helps you out and gives you a nice, quick, easy installation. So stay tuned, enjoy the video, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, guys, we are going to start today with the first part, since I don't have my mounting bracket for the screen yet. We're going to start with the black box and live transducer. So first thing, I drew myself a little map. Believe it or not, that's custom. Just helps me like know what I'm doing from doing stuff in the past, know what I'm doing, know exactly what I need. So I was able to go out, buy all the extensions and everything that I need. So we got some 10 gauge wire. That'll be extending our black box power to the battery. Some shrink tube, ring terminals, butt splices. Got our live transducer right here. Black box, mounting hardware, black box power. And believe it or not, Garmin actually sends instructions, so read them. They're really easy to follow. So I'm going to do perspective mode mount, which allows me to switch between forward, down, and perspective. So I mean, everything comes in the box here, so it tells me what bags I need. I need A, B, and C. So I've got A, B, and C right here, and then my ferrite bead for my cable here when I go to plug that into the black box. So we're gonna get started here and attach this to the trolling motor first. All right, guys, so first part of putting this transducer on is going to be a bracket here. This is it's either 6 or 8 degree mount. Inside bracket says up, so I know how it's going on. Height wise, manual doesn't really give you a great description. Just says as high off the trolling motor as possible. I also have my Mega 360 that comes down, so we're gonna go online. They tell you, like everyone says, 6 inches, I think. So I'm gonna slide that up here about 6 inches, and then they give you an Allen key. I think this one's a little bit easier for me, so start tightening these down, kind of get them snug, and then we'll make sure that we're nice and straight and make sure that our height is correct here. All right, so got the bracket tightened down here. I think we're pretty straight with the trolling motor. So next part's going to be important for whichever side you want this on. I would suggest I had to pull my boat out here so I could lift the trolling motor up and down. So mine is going to go off this direction. So we got a little knob, and we just thread our bracket on there. And then after that bracket, you got your actual live transducer. And I'm going to set mine up in the forward position because I think that's what I'm going to be using and starting with. Now, there's going to be a lot more calibration that goes into these, figuring out what works best for your boat and how you want to see. But for now, I'm going to start with this. And yeah, so there she is, kind of set up there. And next I'm going to route this cable right here up my trolling motor shaft. All right, so next step is going to be getting this cable run up my trolling motor shaft here. I've got the Minn Kota Ultra, so I got this little groove in the back. I'm just gonna electrical tape it for now. Just kind of a temporary thing, make sure that everything's where I want it before I don't know if I'll get some clips, or I might just leave it electrical taped. Zip ties, I know everyone's got their opinion on zip ties. I'm not gonna do it. So they tell you to put in a little 4-inch service loop here. That way, if I want to rotate this to forward or to perspective mode, I can. So got a little loop there, and I'm just gonna give this a wrap or two with electrical tape. And then all I'm gonna do is basically work my way up the trolling motor shaft, and then when we get to the top right up there, we're gonna have to put in another service loop. I think they call it 10 inches before I tie it in with the rest of my cables. So let me get this one tied in all the way down, and then we'll start with the service loop up top. Okay, so I electrical taped my cord going up the shaft, made my little service loop here for spinning the trolling motor, which is perfect for spinning, but another suggestion is stow your trolling motor with it on. So I have my cable run down the little groove of the Ultrex, but cable's too big, so it hit my bracket for when I stowed the trolling motor. So I'm gonna move it from the back here in this groove just to right to the side, and then try it again. Okay, so I moved my cable to the same side as that. I've got the transducer on here, and then this is be my service loop right here. So I tested that, make sure the motor can go all the way around. Now I'm going to feed the rest of my cable with my batch here, and then I've got a little wrap for it. This is my trolling motor cable plus my Mega 360 cables as well. So I'll feed that down the line, and then we'll start, I think we'll start the black box next. All right, so we're back in the garage. We've got our live transducer hooked up. Cable ran all the way up the shaft. Nice service loop in here. Cable's wrapped up in our little cable wrap. And transducer cable is attached to these. These are all the 360 cables right through this little gasket here that I put in last year. And so now we're going to do the black box, and I'm lucky enough to have a little bow compartment, and we're going to stick it right there. So it's nice and up front, and I know my cable management from previous projects is a little poor, but this seems like a great spot for it. I'm going to drill a couple holes, and then we'll get that mounted. All right, so that is the black box mount. Like I said, it comes comes with the hardware, and I had this handy little angled drill that I borrowed from work, and it's actually not that bad. You don't really need to be a contortionist to get that in there. So that is screwed down to my deck. That's not going anywhere. And next step will be to plug in my, I guess I don't really need to plug in my transducer cable, but I will be plugging in the power cable and starting to get that extension wired up here. All right, guys, so we're at our next step here. We've got the black box screwed down, and ran the transducer, plugged it into the box, plugged our power cord into the box. Next one's going to be our power for the black box. So I am running it to my rod locker, basically right on top of where I'm sitting. I didn't test this to see if it would reach, but I don't think it will. Maybe testing is good. Now I'm like 99% sure it's not going to make it. So I'm going to extend this. So this is from the factory. Where are we at here? 14 gauge wire. And if you read your manual, if you extend it anywhere up to 15 feet, you need 10 gauge wire. So I will connect these two together with my splices here, and then we'll pull it through. So let's do a little electrical work. So all you're going to need for this is your step down butt connector, wire stripper, wire cutter, shrink tube, heat gun. So let's get to work. Okay, so now we are going to got our two wires here. We're going to strip these out. This is my wire extension, so 10 gauge. So we're going to strip a little bit off of here. See if that's enough. Might do a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay. That should be good for that one. So we'll go black to black. We'll stick that in there.
And then red to red.
There you go. Alright, and then we'll crimp this down with our yellow crimper.
See? Right?
See, smash the wire. Oh, you know what we didn't do?
What?
Something I always forget. Forgot to put my heat shrink tube on there. I forget this every single time. I don't know where my other one went. Make sure I don't forget it on the other one, okay? Put our wires in. Give them a little twist. And then we'll smash them down so they're nice and tight. Smashed. Not coming out of there?
Nope.
Alright, so now we will do our heat shrink heat gun. Put your hand out. Ooh, not too close. Is that warm? So watch, it's like magic.
I do want it nice and warm.
So it'll melt this down and it'll stick to the wires. See it?
Smells like melted cheese.
Smells like melted cheese.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird, strange. Alright, so there's one. And then we'll slip our heat shrink tube right over here. Actually, maybe we're gonna. That should be
I
good.
feel that.
It's not hot. Barely. Alright, we'll shrink.
And then
Slip our heat shrink tube.
put this one on.
And then we're gonna melt our heat shrink tube over top. So we're doubly sure that this is not coming off. Alright, so there's our connection, and now we'll go ahead and hit our positive side here. Do that next, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end. Alright, so here's our finished product. We got our red ones, red wires, black wires, all crimped together, heat shrink, and then the adhesive shrink tube on top. And then just so it passes through our tube here, I'm just going to tape these together. Make them extra tight, nice, protected. Alright, so there's our finished product. Not the prettiest tape job in the world. So those are our extended wires from the, this is our wire from the black box. This is our extension. So next I've got a tube up front here in the bow. I will slip these through and got a pull cord in there. I might actually run the, might as well run the graph power at the same time. So I might take a little break here and wait till my mount comes in. It's supposed to be in 2 days, so just so I don't have to pull twice. Just run these all at the same time. So there's your black box install, and then we'll do our hookups. I'll kind of show you what I've got working, and then the next step would be our graph mount and graph power. So stay tuned for the second part. All right, so got a little bit of a mess up here, but so we've got black box wired up. My mount is going to be here in about 24 hours. So I went ahead and did my power for my graph also. That's sitting up here. Now I'm going to pull these wires. So I've got a designated fuse box. So I've got my hastily tied wires to my pull cord that I ran last year. And then I've got one right here that I'm going to rerun just in case I decide to add more toys next year. And then we're going to come out in a rod locker right down here somewhere, which I've got the pull. Oh, you can see the pull cord line right there. So let's give these a pull and see if we can get them out. All right, guys, so I'm kind of at a good stopping point for wiring right now. My mount came in, so I'm going to put that on tonight so that I know I've got my power cord here for my graph right here. I just need to know how much cord I need so I can cut this later on. I ended up going with the Beatdown Outdoors single pole, the ultimate. It drops 7 inches up to 13. So you can kind of see she's going to sit right here. Had to do a little creative placement because my Hummingbird 12-inch helix is right here. So we've got barely enough room. I was definitely hoping to have this closer, kind of like up in this area, but obviously that's not going to work. And I could have gone with the double stack mount, but that runs you about 600 bucks. So we got this one. I did get the quick attach base. So I've got this. This is actually the under, kind of like a washer type thing. Just have it to mark my spot here. I'm going to take off my base, quick attach, set it where it's going to go, and then I'm going to start drilling my holes. So we got 5/16. The Beatdown comes with all the mounting hardware, which is super nice. So I'm going to start with 1 and then probably attach that so I don't wiggle. And yeah, so it's always fun drilling a hole in your boat, right? God, that sucks. All right, we can improvise. I got this drill, good battery. I just want to get this done. Okay, so like I said, I think I want to put 1 bolt in here just so that I know it won't move. So let me run up and grab a bolt. All right, we got 2 of our bolts here. Clean this hole up a little bit. Okay, 1. Do this one. Alright, so all the holes drilled. Pop these bad boys out. Do a little cleanup underneath. Okay, so got my holes drilled right here. So the Beatdown mount, they sell this backing plate extra. It's like 15 bucks. They just threw it in with mine when I bought my mount. So I don't know if that was a snake on their part, whatever. It goes underneath, so I'll feed in through my bow here. This mount is heavy. I mean, if I was mounting it on my floor, I think I'd feel a little better, but since I'm just on this small piece, I'm just gonna make, you know, kind of a little extra backing for it. It's just 2 pieces of poly plastic. So I'm gonna basically, that will be my setup for underneath the deck there. So I'm going to mark out on my poly where these are gonna go. I'm gonna have to probably reach under and mark from the top. I think it's gonna end up sitting just like that, and then this will sit right on top of it. These are pre-drilled. I'll drill my own holes for this one, but so yeah, I'm gonna drill those, get this underneath, get my bolts through, and then we'll get her buttoned down. All right, guys, so we have made some progress, as you can see. I think end of the last video I was getting that base drilled in. So we've got the Beat Down Outdoors mount all assembled here. Garmin screen, we've got our wires running. We've got our black box installed with a big jumbled mess of wires that I'll clean up later. And so now we're gonna tie in our power from the black box and the screen to our dedicated fuse box, which is something that I installed last year. So kind of a mess down here still. Got my fuse box here. I've got my wire for the one for the screen, one for the black box, and then over here I've got my Perco switch, which is what the black box is going to tie into. This one here is just my main power from my house battery, but yeah, so we're going to tie our power into our fuse box and then hook up our Perco switch for the black box. Alright guys, so we're working down our hole here. We've got the Echomap 12 with our ring hooks on it, ready for our fuse box. And then this is our black box. We've got bigger ring hook here, which goes into the Perco switch, and then this the negative side will go onto our fuse block here. So I've got my handy little labeling screen. As you can see, I got my Helix 12 and my 360 on here. So that goes on there, and then I've got my Perco switch. So I just need to tie this positive end into here, make a little whip to run from here to the fuse box, and then put my fuses in and we're good to go. So I think that's what we're going to try to finish up here tonight. Then we got to get the batteries in over there. So yeah, quick little this has been spaced out over several days, so I don't know what day I'm on, but quick little install here, so we can keep going. Alright guys, we've got the Echomap hooked up here. So that's running all the way, this one right here, into my yellow fuse box. So next we're going to do the black box, which I got the switch, Perco switch here. Got my little whip extension made, and then these are coming directly from the box. So this will go to the output of my Perco switch. This will tie right to the negative of my fuse box. And then I will drill that baby in right there. And we might actually be getting close to done soon. So drill that in, get those hooked up, and yeah, almost done. Alright guys, well, we did it. It's about 9:30, getting close to 10 o'clock here tonight, so just gonna wrap up real quick. I got everything in. Everything's working that I want to turn on right now. So here's my updated setup. Got my trolling motor battery there on the left. Amped Outdoors 80 amp. Got the house battery 100 amp. Amped Outdoors 12 volt. That one's 24 volt. Main power on off switch running right from that battery. That's my 24 volt charger down there. And then this is my on-off for the black box, which I haven't, probably gonna wait till I get on the water to do that one. But as you can see, she works. At least the screen does. Hopefully, there's no roads on there. You guys can't know where I live. But yeah, so the screen works, and I didn't really poke around with it, but the mount is super nice. Like this mount, I can do with one hand. Like boom, one hand. It's up to my face, kind of where I want it. So pretty cool. I'm still not positive if that transducer is on backwards. I'm gonna take that out tomorrow and do it, or give it a try. But yeah, so honestly, I'm just excited that this is over with. As you can see, moving around the boat is a complete mess. But honestly, the install was not that hard at all. I already had that fuse box in there, which I think is probably the best way to do it. If I ever wire another, like if I ever buy another boat, I'm gonna wire it myself and just put that in there to begin with. I put that in last year. It took me forever. It's just such an easy way to do it. But yeah, I mean, like the screen and everything is just super simple. Just crimping wires and honestly just figuring out where things fit and where they don't fit. So I'm going to shut everything down, get these batteries on the charger, and then I might hit the water tomorrow. We'll see. It's supposed to be in the 50s. Not bass season for a little bit, but go out and catch crappies or sunnies. But I just kind of want to tinker around with this thing and start to learn a little bit. So I hope this video kind of helps anyone who's looking to do an install. If you got any questions, if you're doing an install, you got any questions, just put them down below and I'll try to help you out. But yeah, overall, I would say like 6 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. So if you're trying to decide whether to have someone else, I mean, you pay a lot of money to have someone do it, or you can do it yourself for $0, depending on what you value your own hours at. But yeah, highly recommended. So yeah, like I said, we'll get it out on the water, and hopefully we'll see some videos with some Livescope soon coming up. And yeah, so we'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.